Testing. Testing. Okay. Jeez. Slovakia. Testing. Okay. Jeez. Slovakia. Let's move that out the way. Testing. Okay. Jeez. Slovakia. Thawada swap. I appreciate it. Slovakia. I'm trying to get this mic going. We ain't gonna use no mic today. All right. Slovakia. Shalom Ba'Hashem Shabarakatah to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shema Alatah Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai to the sisters. We at the Isupk Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command in General Yohana. We've been teaching the truth since 1969 that all so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indigenous people are the Israelites of the Bible, and that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now, today, proposed the question for the title, what is sin? We talk about sin quite a bit. I wanted to go over, what it actually is, who can sin, who cannot sin, what can sin lead to, right? I know a lot of people in the world have had some questions about what sin actually is according to the Bible. So we'll be touching on that today. So with that being said, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. Let me see. Just one moment. All right. And we'll be starting out of the book of Leviticus, chapter 26, verses 14 through 21 in the Hebrew, first 7 verses in the Hebrew, of course. And then we'll dive in a little bit more of, what is sin and what it can lead to. Those who have been in the school long enough, we already know, the deal with sin. Sin is bad. I think that's pretty straightforward. You understand? Like that's pretty straightforward. We know that sin is bad. Sin can lead to death, right? I'm not going to give too much of it away, but we'll be going over some of these topics today. For those who are not in the school yet, I don't know what y'all waiting for. Y'all really need to hurry up and get in the school. We're in the last days. I don't know who needs to tell y'all this, but we are in the last days. I see brothers and sisters who are not in the ISUPK, Israelite brothers and sisters who are still in the world, and even they are recognizing that we are in the last days. Look, I'm telling you. Well, Slovakia, I'm not telling you. The Bible is telling you that Christ is coming back, and you better get your head on straight while you still can, because once World War III pops off and Yahushua Mashiach comes back, y'all gonna be searching for us. And there's gonna be a point. Look, I'm telling y'all. Look, before I begin class, right? There's gonna be a time when there's no more YouTube. We ain't gonna be doing classes on YouTube no more. There's not gonna be any more Facebook. You ain't gonna have time for it. You're gonna be too busy fleeing from your house because everything got lit on fire because there's nuclear bombs coming down. Ain't gonna be no more time for TikTok. I know people be on TikTok all the time. I'm guilty, Slovakia. But ain't gonna be no time for that either. Ain't gonna be no more time for you to be selling your behind, sis. Nah, all that hard-earned money that you got from being in the strip club and selling your body, that's not gonna mean nothing. Eventually. I'm telling y'all, look, I'm trying to help y'all out. This is all out of love, you understand? It's called tough love. We'll be getting into that later on, but with that being said, Amadium, just me up here. La Yasharala, which means to Israel. Amadim upon Yahakwadam, which means to stand and face the east. Of course, we face the east because that's where home is, Jerusalem. We'll be getting started with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. This is the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakuvka, Taba'ah, Batazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Latanlanawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawatinawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Manasaiwan, Upbal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wahataparath, Lawalumyum, Amun. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Hakak, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Babakasha, Latan Lanawa. Hakak, Hakak, Larapa'ah, Call, Makala, Wakal, Madawat, Hakak, Latahar, Ha, Matazarayim, Hakak, Lahakwayim, Hamathim, Hakak, Isle, Rakawath, Hatama Allah, Lagarshun, Ba'ashum, Yahushai, Thawada, Amun. Now in the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, in the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it. The blessings in the Hebrew: Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Wa Miyak Allah, Wa Alahayim, Matazab Ya'ah, Alawat Yahana, Ha Alawatyan, Ha Saranyam, Ha Kwatazayoyan, Ha Kayayoyan, Waha Akwatyan, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Thawada, Amun. The blessings in the English: bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew: Asha'ah, Ayanya, O, Haharim, Ma'yan, Yaba'ah, Izoya, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'arataza, Ayatan, Lamawat, Regalka, O, Yanawam, Shemorka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashun, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shemorka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yanyamka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarach, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamorka, Makal, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka,
Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'atka, Wabawa'atka, Ma'ita, I will love. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, all, Gamaya, Laka, all, Thakarash, Wa all, Tashakwat, all, Kaya, Hana, Oyedika, Yahama, Yawan, Ra'ash, Il, Imaka, Ya'ayamwa, Sawada, Waita, Yatazawa, Il, Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Salakia, Lakawa, Wanakakidum, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum, Yasharala, Awada, Kaya, Natazawa, Laba, Yakabwa, Al-Yaka, Baryath, Yakarathwa, Ahalya, Adawam, Wa, Yashama Alium, Baryath, Slakia, Mawa'aba, Wahagorium, Gabal, Waimawan, Waimalak, Palashath, Amishabia, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Nalawa, Imum, Hayawa, Zorawai, Labunya, Lawat, Salat, Aisha, Lahum, Kamudyim, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayabyan, Bonakor, Koyashwan, Nashamarwa, Baryath, Aslakia, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayatamun, Nada, Yamawa, Kairab, Wakaza Abu, Wakaza Bak, Wakatazor, Manai, Kor, Nasa Yakamwa, Ashar, Amorwa, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Ath, Naawath, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Rawaka'a, Ka'ash, Taba'ira, Ya'ira, Wa, Kalahaba, Thalahat, Haryum, Kun, Tharadatma, Basa Iraka, Wabasa, Wapathka, Tabahalum, Mala'a, Panyahum, Kuala 1, Waya, Wakwashwa, Shimka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Adyai, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Dayawa, Kaya, Atha, Shimka, Yahawa, Labaka, Alyawan, Alcohol, Haratazah. Now Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make atonement, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, And let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also was joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Ored, and like Zaid. Yea, all their princes, as Zabah, and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Lord, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth.
All right, may be seated. So we're going to be starting out of the book of Leviticus, chapter 26, verse 14. So let me fix this real quick. Verse 14 through 21. We're talking about a couple things today, right? We're talking about what sin is, who can sin, who cannot sin, what can sin lead to, right? Things that can lead to sin. We'll be talking about quite a bit, right? So this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 26, verse 14. Let's see. Ya'am la'a tasha ma'at tasha maya laya. Let's see. Wala'a taisha'a ath. Let's see. Ball. Hamataza Ya'ath. Let's see. Hala'a Wa'am. No, it's like it. Let's see. Wa'am Baka Kwathaya Thama. Let's see. Thamataya Wa'am Ath Masha Pa. Let me see. Masha Patai. Let's see. Nasha Pataya. Let's see. Thaga Isle. Napa Shaba'am. Let me see. Laba Lathaya. Aisha Ya'ath, Ath, Bal, Matazaya Athya. It's lucky. Yeah, don't worry about it. Let's see. Laha Paraba'am, Ath. Let's see. Bada Yathya. Let's see. Ap Anaya. Let's see. Aisha'a Za'ath Laba'am
Wa'apakwa Dathya. Let's see. Ila ya ba'am ma'ala'a. It's like yeah, ba'ala'a. Ath hasha kapa'ath. Let's see. Let me see. Wa'ath ha Kwada Ka'ath Mabala Ya'ath Aya Nayam. Let's see. Let's see. Nama Raya Ba'ath Napash Pash. Let's see. Let me see. Ra'ai Tha'am La Ra Ya'ach Zara'ai Ba'am Wa'a Bala Aya. Let's see. Araba Ya Ba'am. Let's see. Wanatha Thaya Panya Baba'am. Let's see. Wanaga Patham La Panya Ara. Let me see. Ayaba Yaba'am. Let's see. See. Waradaya Ba'am. Let's see. Shana'a Yaba'am. Man. Yana I. So no. Yanata Tha'am Wa'a Ya'an Ra Da'ak Athaba'am Ta. Let's see. Ya'am I'd Ala'a La'a Tashama'aya Laya Wayata Pathaya Laya Da'a Ath Ba'am Shaba'ai I'll see Kata'a Thaya Ba'am Yashaba Dathaya Ath Ga'a Ya'an Isupk Yanathaya Ath Shemaya Ba'am Ba'a Za'al Waya'ath Arataza Ba'am Bana Kasha'a Watha'am La Ra Ya'ach Baka Ba'um. Let's see. I'll Wala'a. The Un. Let's see. Arataza Ba'um. Ath Waba Ya La'a. Wa I Wa I Taza Ka Dataza La'a Wayatun Para Ya'a. Let's see. Lasha Ma'ai Laya Wara Tapathaya Ayo Yaba'um Maba'a Shaba'ai.
All right, that's it for that. Almost lost my glasses. All right. So now this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 26, verse 14. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, for anybody who doesn't know what abhor means, it means to hate. So if you abhor the Most High's judgments, you hate the judgments, so that ye will do so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenants, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of hearts. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies, that they hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. So, of course, we touch on this a little bit every single class, right? This isn't Deuteronomy, this is Leviticus, but of course it's going over some of the horrible things that will happen to you if you go against the Most High, which we all know we've done many, many times in the past, and our forefathers and foremothers, right? You can read it all throughout the Bible of all the horrible things that have happened to us and continue to happen to us. I'm going to bring up something real quick. A lot of people try to say that so-called blacks and Latinos, right? Whenever we talk about the crimes that are being committed towards us, not just here in America, but just all over the world, right? They like to say we like to play victim. Oh, you're playing victim. That happened such a long time ago. Just forget about it, right? Well, those who don't remember their past are doomed to repeat it, as you can see, right? Because a lot of brothers and sisters today, so-called blacks and Latinos, do not remember their history, right? Because it's been wiped out. Yes, we know of, the Aztecs and the Mayans. We know of the Olmec, right? From my Isupk brothers and sisters out there. We know of the Tainos and the Arawak Indians from my Ephraimite brothers and sisters out there. We know of, actually some people might not know this, the Kilinago and the Caribs in the West Indies, right? We might know, a lot of so-called black people today, right? African Americans. We know that, okay, yes, our ancestors came here on slave ships. We came from Africa. But the thing is, there's a blank slate there, right? I'm noticing a lot of, especially Judites, Lakia, are having this issue where they're trying to find their identity, right? I learned what a Wabo is not that long ago. A Wabo is a wannabe Aboriginal, somebody who claims that they're native, but they're really not. Now, here we already understand that so-called blacks, Latinos, and natives are all related, right? We know that. But I see a lot of Judites out in the world. They're just trying to claim anything that they can get their hands on now. Because all we've been taught is, well, your ancestors were brought here on slave ships from Africa, and then that was it. Anything prior to that is a mystery. Nobody knows. Well, so they tell you anyway. They know, they just keep it away from you, right? And now you see more and more and more brothers and sisters, right, who are waking up and realizing, oh, I really am an Israelite. I am from the tribe of Judah. I am from the tribe of Zebulun. I am from the tribe of Issachar. I am from the tribe of Levi or Simeon or Ephraim or Reuben or Manasseh. You understand? We're realizing that now. And what will they tell you? They'll tell you that, well, you're a culture vulture. You're a culture vulture. You're not the real Jews. You're not a real Israelite. The real Israelites live back in Jerusalem. It's funny because I showed a video not that long ago. It was a Jewish rabbi, right? So-called Jewish rabbi. And he was in some meeting, right? And he was revealing that there is a strong possibility that so-called African Americans could possibly be the real Jews. It has admitted that the Jewish are just converts. And in the video, they didn't show it, but you could hear like the chairs in the background. People started moving them around. They were getting angry because this man was exposing them. Because when you read about the real Jews in the Bible, the Jewish don't even fit the description. Show me where the Jewish man was oppressed for 400 years. Show me where he's been scattered from one end of the earth onto the other. Show me where in history, you know, they faced enemies that came from afar, and they did not understand their language. The Germans live right there. They're not far. They're on the same continent. Show me where the Jewish man and woman was put on slave ships and sent off to a country that was not their own. And there they were going to face bondage. I know some people are like, well, what about the Holocaust? Yeah, the Holocaust was a horrible thing. Okay, but that's not 400 years of oppression, though. The Holocaust only lasted for so long. So if that's the case, who is the Bible talking about? 400 years of affliction. I believe that's in Genesis 15 and 13, talking about the seed of Abraham, right? It describes us as black multiple times throughout the Bible. Not just black, by the way, ruddy. You know, Jeremiah 12 and 9, it shows that we can be of many different shades. We're likened unto a speckled bird, right? A speckled bird, if you look into the Hebrew, it's compared to the word variegated. Variegated means something of many colors, meaning, you know, of course, Israel, you know, we could look like anybody nowadays. We done mixed in so much. Hosea 7 and 8, that speaks of Ephraim. Ephraim, so-called Puerto Ricans today, forget about it. Puerto Ricans can look like anybody. They could look like me. They could look like a white boy. They could look Asian. You know, you just can't, you never know. You just never know. But see, it's one of the reasons why the Most High didn't want us mixing with other nations, because, you know, now it's kind of hard to tell who's an Israelite. You really can't just go based off the shade anymore. Some people look like Africans, some people look like Asians, some people look like Europeans, etc., 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 right? But moving on, right? Going back to the topic, right? Sin, right? Going against the Most High, which we constantly do. And now look at where we are today. You got so many brothers and sisters confused. They're confused. I identify as a Puerto Rican. A Puerto Rican just means rich port. Now it's from Christopher Columbus and the Spaniards. So what are you really? Well, I'm Taino. Well, Taino was another name that they gave you. So what are you before that? Oh, I'm Boricuan. Okay, well, what were you before that? Well, exactly. What were you called before African American? You were called Negro. What were you called before Negro? You were called colored. The term African American wasn't even patented until 1782. So we've only been called African for so long. So you were definitely something else before that. So what were you? I'm Jamaican. What were you before that? I'm Colombian. I'm Cuban. Okay, what were you before that? These are all names that the oppressor gave you, by the way. Like, who called Brazil Brazil? The Portuguese. We didn't call it Brazil. They called it Brazil. Now you identify as a Brazilian. You identify as an African American. You identify as a Puerto Rican. You identify as a Jamaican, a Cuban, a Colombian, a Haitian, a Dominican. You understand? All names given by your oppressor. Because your history's been damn near wiped out and you can only remember so much. Well, why did that happen? Because we kept going against the Most High. So now we're going to go over why you shouldn't go against the Most High. What is sin? Who can sin? And how to avoid sin, right? So let's just finish up real quick.
Verse 18, and if ye will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. You see? And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron, and your earth as brass. This is a good precept for jail, right? Being in bondage. You're in iron and brass. You're in a jail cell. You're in jail. You're incarcerated. You understand? And your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruits. And if ye walk contrary to me, and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. So we pretty much got the gist of it, right? You're going to be punished. We're going to keep being punished for our sins. It's never going to stop, right? So they tell you. It's one of the things they don't tell you, right? They just try to make it seem like, you're just a slave. You're just a native. You know, your people were colonized, and, you know, that's all you're ever going to be. You're just a dirty Mexican. You know, you're an illegal immigrant, right? They like to call Puerto Ricans mutts. They come out with all these derogatory terms to call us, man. And they try to make you feel so bad about yourself. And it's so bad that we don't even want to identify with each other, right? You know, I see it all the time on the internet, you know, especially with, like, I'm just speaking from personal experience, Judah and Ephraim, right? So-called blacks and Puerto Ricans. Where I come from, look, blacks and Puerto Ricans, look, we're hand in hand. For every Judite, you see 2 Ephraimites right next to them. You understand? We're everywhere. We always rock with one another. There was never really any beef. Somewhere in our spirit, we knew that we're similar. We're the same people. We might look a little different, of course, but we're similar. We have the same spirit in a sense like that. And then, you know, I'm starting to see a lot of tribes fighting with one another. I see the Dominicans fighting with the Haitians, right? Oh, you're not Dominican. You're just a dirty Haitian. You're an African. You're not one of us. I see Puerto Ricans and Judites fighting each other. Talking about, I see Judites trying to say that, oh, well, Puerto Ricans, they're not really us. Meanwhile, they got an afro and bronze skin looking dead at you. Then you see Puerto Ricans who try to deny their black ancestry, right? And again, they're very, very mixed, so you can't deny that. But then when they come to the States, you know, they hang out with Judites. Listen to the music, dancing with us, but then they don't want to identify as black. And I actually saw, it was an Ephraimite sister. She even said that some Ephraimites do this because they don't want to identify as black because they view it as a lower status. You see how we view one another? That's how destroyed we are. We look down on each other, but somehow we always hanging out. You're sitting here hating each other, but we eat each other's food. We listen to each other's music. We partake in each other's customs and culture. Do you want to know why? Because we're the same people. All right. But because we've sinned and we continue to sin, we will always suffer. Now, I got a question for the class. Can anybody sin? Let me see who's paying attention. Can anybody sin? Feel free to just put it in the comments real quick. Can anybody sin according to the Bible? Because a lot of people get very confused about that. I'll give somebody just a quick moment. Can anybody sin? Okay, so let me see. Anel Perez, so you said yes. Okay, so let's talk about it. This is why I wanted to go over this. So let's go to the book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. So this is the book of John, chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. So to sin is to, let's see. Khan, yes, no, only Israel. But we're going to talk about it though, right? So the book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 4, right? Sin is a transgression of the law. Okay? Now, who was given the law? I'll paraphrase it real quick. Leviticus chapter 26. Matter of fact, we're already here, right? Leviticus chapter 26, verse 46. And it says, these are the statutes and judgments and laws, which the Lord made between him and the children of Israel in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses. So only Israelites can sin, just so everybody's clear. So for everybody that said no, you're correct. Only Israelites can sin because the law was only given to us. Esau can't sin. Esau can do whatever he wants. He can eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. He can buy whores and be effeminate and be a homosexual and celebrate pagan holidays. Really, they're not even pagan to him because those are his holidays. That's him, right? Asians can't sin. The Japanese cannot sin. Pacific Islanders, the Samoans and Hawaiians and whatnot, they cannot sin because they were not given the law like how we were. We were given the law. So since we're the only ones that were given the law, we're the only ones that can break the law, if that makes sense, right? Exactly. Israel was only given the law, right? So just so everybody's clear. So now let's talk a little bit more. Let's talk a little bit more about sin, right? I want to let's go to Psalms, right? The book of Psalms. Let's go to chapter 66. I believe it's 66. The book of Psalms, chapter 66. Let's go to 66 and verse 18. If I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear me. Iniquity, right? Meaning that if you're doing evil, the Lord is not going to hear you. The Most High is not going to hear you, right? But verily God hath heard me. He hath attended to the voice of my prayer. Blessed be God, which hath not turned away from my prayer, nor his mercy from me. So, right? The Most High only hears you when you obey him. I talk about this a little bit in my class, every single time. Our relationship with the Most High is like parent and child, right? Anybody, I don't got kids personally, but for all my brothers and sisters out there who are parents, you already know if your kid is being bad and misbehaving, you're not going to reward that. At least I pray you don't. But if they're following the instructions and they're being a good child and they're doing what they're supposed to do, let's say they come to you and they ask, hey, Ma, I want to get that new Nintendo Switch, and they've been good, they've been doing what they're supposed to, they've earned it. You understand? You might just sit there and be like, you know what? Yeah, we can go get you the Switch, right? You've been keeping up your grades and cleaning the house and. You haven't been misbehaving. You've been a good child. So you know what? Yes, you can get that new Nintendo Switch. But let's just say your kid bad as hell. Don't listen to nobody, right? Constantly being disobedient, disrespectful. And then they come to you, hey, Mom, can I get the new Nintendo Switch? Hell no, you ain't getting no damn Switch. But Mom, can I get the new PS5? Hell no, you ain't getting no PS5. You ain't getting them new shoes. You ain't getting nothing. Because you're disobedient. You don't hear them. It's the same thing with the Most High. You can't sit here. This is how you know we Israel too. Every single time that we're in a time of turmoil or we're suffering, what do so-called blacks and Latinos do all the time? We pray. I don't care what your religion is. It's all fake regardless. But somehow, in some way, deep down in your spirit, you know that there is a higher being. And you know that you got to answer to someone. So when you're facing affliction, what do? You pray. You're praying to somebody. You're praying to somebody. You can try to reject it all you want. You're praying to someone. And that someone is the Most High. The problem is, you sin. And you keep sinning. Let's go to Isaiah 59 and 2. Right? You keep sinning. And because of that, Most High don't hear you. Because why should he help you? You don't listen to him. Let's see, I believe it's 59 and 2. The book of Isaiah chapter 59 verse 2, right? But your iniquities have separated between you and your God. And your sins, again, right, have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. The Most High will not hear you if you continue to sin. When you lose a loved one, when you're stressed out, right, when you get into a car accident, we've all been through stuff. Each and every single one of us have been through stuff. The Most High is not going to hear you when you start praying to him, because you turn your back on him. You turn your back. He brought us up out of Egypt. He gave us the land of Canaan to conquer, which got turned into Israel, right? We were supposed to inherit the land of milk and honey. Our land was supposed to be in abundance. We're supposed to be set on high above all other nations. You see all these rewards that the Most High is willing to give us? Ain't that something? In the kingdom of heaven, we're going to have 12 gates. Our streets are going to be paved with gold. You could read that in Revelation. Meaning, I know it seems kind of crazy right now because Esau, he's the superpower on the planet right now. And you see his kingdoms, and, I've been to Italy and Rome and stuff. You've been to the Vatican. It looks all nice. And, you go to even these other nations like Dubai. Dubai is really nice, right? They have some place called Ferrari World, which was crazy, right? You go to some of these places and it looks pleasing. Our kingdom is going to be better than that. And blacks and Latinos can't understand that. It does not comprehend in our brains because all we're used to is oppression. We think this is beautiful. We think, good night. We think San Bernardino is beautiful. We think New York is beautiful. We think New Orleans and Jacksonville and Duval, Florida is beautiful. And don't get me wrong, there's some nice parts here and there, but like this ain't nothing compared to the kingdom that's promised to us. But you got to earn it though, right? You can't keep sinning. You can't do bad your whole life and expect a reward. And realistically, that's anything. That's really anything. You cannot sit here and expect something to come to you when you're not willing to put in the work for it. I know brothers like to go to the gym, right? Sisters too. How you gonna get stronger? You gotta go to the gym. You gotta work out. You gotta change your diet plan. You can't be eating McDonald's all day. You can't be eating Burger King and fast food and Popeyes all day, right? You gotta switch it up. If you're trying to lose weight, you can't be eating pizza every day. You understand? If you wanna get a better job, okay, work for that. Go get your degree if you gotta go get it, right? Go do those things. Work towards your goal. And that's what we do in here. We're working towards a goal. And when we get that goal, it ain't gonna be an if. When we get that goal, you gotta work to keep it. You understand? So now let's dig a little bit more into sin, right? There was one scripture. Oh, let's go to 1 Corinthians, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. This is one right here, right? Because I know, we talk a lot about dealing with temptation, and sometimes it feels like it's just too much for you. Let me read something for you real quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able. What does this mean? Whatever challenge, look, the Lord made you. That might go over some people's heads, but the Most High made you. You understand? You lived a life before this, believe it or not. You might not remember, but the Most High remembers. That's why he's referred to as the Ancient of Days. Don't even try to wrap your head around how old the Most High is. He's everything, okay? My point being is, the Most High knows what you can handle and what you can't handle. So you might be going through some things like, damn, why me? Why do I gotta go through this stuff? I'm sick and tired of suffering. And we all come through different walks of life, right? Some brothers and sisters might have lost family members, coming from a gang, been in prison, been in the military, crazy baby mama. I know brothers go through that all the time. Or I know some sisters ain't SHIT baby daddy, right? Who got you pregnant and bounced, right? You might be recovering from alcoholism, or cigarettes or weed or just any type of drug addiction. Maybe you used to dip and dabble into whores once upon a time ago. You used to buy prostitutes and whatnot. And now you get in here and okay, you're like, okay, I'm going to knock all that off. I'm not going to let any of this get to me, but you know, Satan be working. But you got to work harder, right? And the Lord is going to throw some jabs at you. I know it sucks. The Lord is going to test you. See how bad you actually want it. When you come in here, it's not all peaches and cream, you feel me? There's going to be times where you're going to go through things and it's just not going to be pleasant. Y'all can read about Job. Good night. We all know what Job went through. Job damn near lost everything. Everything. And he still did not turn his back on the Most High. So you ain't got an excuse, right? If you're going through whatever challenge it is, it's because the Most High knows that you can handle it. Believe me when I tell you this. You are stronger than what you think you are. I know we all suffer temptation. Christ suffered temptation. You understand? But you can get through it. You can get through it. Don't sit here and let Satan win. Because he's looming around the corner at all times. You understand? So now let's see. We can keep reading that, right? I start from the top. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. There hath no temptation taken you but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. Meaning, you can get through it. You can get through it. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't think that the Most High just forgot about you. You didn't forget about him. He didn't forget about you, right? Yeah, it might suck. You might get injured. You might not be able to do the things that you're used to anymore. You know, you might not have as much money as you used to. You know, you come into, I know some, Salagi, I'm just going to talk about it. I know some brothers coming to the truth, right? And now, you know, some brothers might feel like I don't get the ladies like that no more. You know, there's a lot of these sisters today, Salakia, of course not the ones in the school, but the ones out in the world are very, very worldly. Very worldly, and they don't know what a real man is. They think a real man is, you know, you just buying them nice things and having sex with them. That's it. They don't understand what discipline is. They don't understand what order is. They don't understand what taking accountability for your actions is. And you come in here and, brother, you done changed your whole life. Now your entire self is built off of morals. Law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High gave to us. You don't celebrate pagan holidays anymore. You don't eat certain things. You know, you actually take the time to get to know a woman now. You're not just thinking with your rod anymore. Now, some sisters, look, a wise sister will appreciate that. She'll see you and be like, oh, this man, this brother different. He different than all the other ones. Hold on, let me see what's going on with him. But then you're going to bump into sisters out in the world. They don't give a damn, Ak. And yes, we know Israelite women are beautiful. Just because she got a big butt don't mean that you should go chasing after her. All right? Stop being blinded by the looks. All right? A lot of that's just makeup anyway. Salakia. Suffer that temptation, brother. You'll be fine. I'm pretty sure there's a righteous sister waiting around for you somewhere. There's probably like 5 of them, believe it or not. Just waiting for you to talk to them. Trust me. All right? So you got to suffer that. And sisters, look, you are of no exception. Right? You probably was in the world at one point, and all the dudes loved you. They all loved you. You loved the attention. You might have not been, you know, opening your legs for every single man, but you did like the attention, though. Dressing provocatively, showing what the Lord gave you for everybody to see. And then somewhere along the line, you realize, this ain't it. I don't want to go to the club anymore. I don't want to be ratchet. I don't want to be ghetto. I don't want to be loud and obnoxious. I've tried all that, and, well, look at me. I'm lonely. You know, all my relationships failed. I'm a single baby mother. Maybe I should change. And then you come in here and you are a new person, sis. The old you, dead. I don't even know. The Most High don't even know. That old you, gone. Forget about it. He worried about who you are right now, the new creature of who you are right now. But them demons gonna come back, sis. You know, the Bible refers to the woman as the weaker vessel, not necessarily saying that you're weak, sis, but, you know, there's a power structure. And because you are the weaker vessel, that means that you're a lot easier to prey on. I'm just keeping it real with you. You're a lot easier to prey on, and Satan is going to try his best to get you first. He's going to go after you. Your old friends who weren't even really your friends, they're going to come back. They're going to want you to go back to the club with them. They're going to talk smack about the man that you with now. Oh my goodness, I see that a lot. It's like a lot of bitter sisters in the world. They mad because you got a righteous man and you're happy. And because they're sad and lonely, they want you to be sad and lonely with them. Sis, don't even entertain that stuff. Forget about it, okay? Don't even worry about that stuff. Resist sin. Resist sin. Because we all know what sin is going to lead to. Matter of fact, let's see. Let's go to Romans 6 and 23 real quick. Romans 6 and 23. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ, or Yahushua Mashiach as we know him, our Lord. Now, what does this mean? This can mean two things, right? Sin can literally mean like you're going to die, right? We know something basic. Don't eat pork. Look, there's beef bacon out there, okay? It tastes better anyway. I know some people don't like turkey bacon and y'all say it tastes like leather. Depends on what brand you're buying. But if you really need some good bacon, beef bacon, it tastes better, it's not as greasy, and guess what? It's lawful and it's healthier for you. You see that? So my point being is leave the pork alone. But there are some people, they just can't leave it alone. I seen a sister one day said, I'll die for the pork. I'm like, that's a demon. That is Satan at its finest. You're willing to die for swine? Okay. No sweat. When you're 30 plus years old and you have high blood pressure, don't be mad. Because we warned you. Alright. For anybody who sees this video, I'm warning you right now, stay away from that stuff. So now that can literally lead to death, you know, clogged arteries, heart attacks, you know, things of that sort. You could die at a very early age. Right? I hate, look, I'm going to tell y'all right now, y'all not old. I know some of y'all like, oh, I'm 35, I'm 40 years old, I'm 45. You're not old. You're not old. I don't care what anybody else told you. You remember, we used to live to 120 years easy. Easy. Old to us was like, you know, 90 plus. You're not old, sis. You're not old, Ak. You just feel old. That's all it is because of all the stuff that you put in your body from once upon a time ago. You're not old. Okay? So get that out of your mind. But the wages of sin can lead to death physically, but it can also lead to death spiritually. What do I mean by that? A lot of y'all are dead inside. You're walking around, you're alive physically, like your body is still functioning, but you're dead inside. Why do you think a lot of brothers and sisters smoke weed? Realistically, let's talk about it real quick. Why do you think a lot of y'all smoke weed? Oh, it makes me feel good. No, you're running from something. That's all it is. You're depressed. You're depressed and you're sad and you hate yourself. You probably lost somebody in your life that you really cared about and you're suffering. So the weed numbs the pain temporarily. Because I don't smoke weed. I get through my life just fine. I don't need marijuana in my life. Now, of course, I know for some people out there, you know, marijuana is used for medicinal purposes. Because marijuana is really just a plant, right? It's really just a plant. And things of the earth can be used for medicinal purposes. Now, if you're really sick and, you know, you really need marijuana, not smoking, let's just get that clear real quick. Not smoking the marijuana. But if your doctor prescribes you something because you really need it, that's different. That's an entirely different subject. But if you're just smoking weed just to smoke weed, get up out of here. And I love how y'all like to say, oh, well, it's a plant. It comes from the earth. You know what else comes from the earth? Cocaine. Cocaine comes from the earth. Meth comes from the earth. The ingredients that they get from cigarettes, they didn't fly to the moon and get moon dust from outer space and put it in a cigarette so you can smoke it. All those ingredients come from the earth. You're not fooling anybody. You're only trying to fool yourself. That's the demon talking. Because you're dead inside. You're an alcoholic because you're dead inside. It numbs the pain. Back in the military, we had a saying, it's called a functioning alcoholic. I see brothers and sisters coming in, I'm talking boozed up. I'm talking like you could smell it on their breath, hair all messed up, and they just walking around functioning machinery at that, dangerous machinery. And you already know they're not all there in the head. And then you start talking to them and realizing that they're really sad. They really need help. They really need therapy. They really need to obey the law, statutes, and commandments and stop sinning. Okay? You're getting punished. That's what you need to understand. You're getting punished, and the Lord doesn't hear you because you're not obeying Him. So when you're depressed and you're sad, you're not going to get any help from the Most High because you're not obeying. It's really just that simple. And this is all out of love, by the way. You know, this is real love. Real love exists in the Isupk and the Commander General Yohana. Out in the world, it does not exist. You know what they tell you in the world? Follow your heart. That's what they tell you. Follow your heart. Whatever you feel like is good, just follow it. What they don't tell you is, okay, if I'm going to follow my heart, I'm sad and I feel like killing myself. So you know what? I'm going to follow my heart and kill myself. They don't tell you that part. You know, suicide is still a very big issue in our communities, right? The Black and Latino community. I've seen it, not seen it physically, but like heard of it happening to people that I was very close with growing up. During my time in the service, forget about it. I remember it was one time, if I could share something with the class, hanging out with some people, right? One of my friend's ribs, you know, she had to go back to her command. It was like this big issue, right? And she found out that somebody that she was very close with tied a rope around their neck and jumped down a scaffolding, hung themselves. And that's a very long drop too. They're dead. And she was close with that person. They're dead. Another person, they jumped off the top of the flight deck. I don't know how high y'all think a flight deck is on an aircraft carrier. Let's just put it like this. You jump off the top of an aircraft carrier into water. When you hit that water, it's going to feel like concrete. There's a very good chance you're going to die, or at least severely injure yourself and die a slow death. Now you got to think, well, why in the world would somebody want to sit here and jump off of an aircraft carrier? Because they're sad. Because they're dead inside. That's why. They're suffering. And this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. This is how you know we're not cared about in this country. Because when so-called blacks and Latinos want to share their stories, right? They want to talk about the horrible things that have happened to them, and they're trying to get it out. It's a lot of trauma that's built up in there from a very young age, and you're trying to get it out. You're trying to deal with it. People in the world, they don't give a damn. I see black people complaining all the time about things that they got to go through, and they're constantly being told, that was such a long time ago. Slavery ended a long time ago. Forget about it. You're playing victim. Oh, we all got to go through things. Get over it. Not realizing that the things that we got to go through is a lot worse, right? They say the same thing to Latinos too. Forget about it. This was Mexico at one point. Now Mexico got cut in half. I spoke with a brother who served time in the military, and he said that his father, I believe, served some time in the military. He was a Mexican man. After he served his time, I forgot what exactly happened. He didn't dive too much into it. He didn't want to get too personal, of course. His father got deported. So you mean to tell me that a Mexican man, an Isupk man, a Hispanic man, right, can serve his country and still get deported? Make it make sense. I want to know. Make it make sense. These are the issues that we got to deal with, right? And they ain't going to go nowhere. They're not going to go anywhere as long as you continue to sin. This is what I'm talking about you're dead inside. You know, the suicide rate is very high within our communities. And believe it or not, I can't even say fun fact because it's not fun at all. There's nothing funny about it. But a fact that most people might not know is The suicide rate for men is actually a lot higher than women, believe it or not. Statistically, it's been shown that women, specifically Black and Latina women, they have more suicide attempts than men. However, men, Black and Latino men, have higher suicide succession rates because men will take more drastic measures. Brothers will shoot themselves. They'll drive off a cliff. They'll get belligerently drunk and crash into a building. When they really want to end it, they'll end it. Sisters, what they'll do is, which is very common, they like to pop pills. They'll pop pills and then down it with a whole bunch of alcohol. They like to overdose. Both is just sad, honestly. They're both sad. And why would you want to do this to yourself? Think about it. Why would you want to do this to yourself? Why would you want to kill yourself? I saw it was a class, of course, with General Mahyman, right? And he was discussing how suicide is selfish. And if I could touch on that real quick, General Mahyman is absolutely correct. Suicide is selfish. Because believe it or not, somebody loves you. Somebody loves you. Okay? I know some of us might not feel like it. Somebody cares about you. Somebody cares about your personal well-being. Some of y'all got sons, daughters that look up to you, brothers, sisters, a mom, a dad, an auntie, an uncle. It might be a brother in the world, a friend, right? Somebody gives a damn about you. And when you kill yourself, you're not understanding the toll that it takes on everybody else. Somebody just lost a son now. Somebody just lost a husband. Somebody just lost a wife. Somebody just lost a daughter. Somebody just lost their auntie. And that's going to stay with them for the rest of their lives. And they're going to be wondering why. Why did auntie such and such kill herself? Why did uncle such and such kill himself? Why did my dad kill himself? Why did my daughter kill herself? And they're going to show up to your funeral and just wonder why. And that's the worst part about it is they can't even put the blame on nobody because you did it. You did it. It is selfish. Don't kill yourself. Also, another thing that General Mahyman touched on, you think your enemy's going to give a damn about you? When you commit suicide, you admit defeat. I'm just going to tell it to you straight like that. There are Edomites out here who wish, they are praying that you die every single day. Trust me, I know. I hear it all the time on social media. Those of y'all who know me enough, I'll be on TikTok trying to make little videos and stuff. And the comments are just absolutely ridiculous. We get called viruses, the scum of the earth. Why won't you just die? Get out. You're a cancer. I hope your entire race depletes. I'm like, damn. Well, tell me how you really feel. But because we strong here in the ISUPK and the Commanding General Yohana, we don't worry about that stuff. Who's this? The mistreatment of Israelites is not a past event, but is still present this day, and we refuse to believe what we are seeing sleep. Damn right. What the brother brought out was heavy. We are horrendously mistreated. Horrendously. And like I brought up earlier, when you bring up these things, what do they tell you? Oh, you're playing victim. Get over it. It's kind of hard to get over it when y'all put all these cigarettes and weed dispensers or whatever in Black and Latino communities. It's kind of hard to get over it when y'all created a system that completely disrupts the black marriage, right? You completely demonize men in our communities, right? Black and Latino men. They like to make us into anything else but masculine, right? And just so y'all clear, because I know some people like, oh, well, it's only the black man. Oh, no, it's Latino men too, right? What's his name? Bad Bunny. Forget about it. I don't know what that brother's on. He's a Puerto Rican brother, Ephraimite brother, right? And it's like every time I see him, he gets a little bit more feminine every single time. That brother looking real zesty, all right? And sisters, they just, oh my gosh, I love him. No, no, you're just a whore and you just want some ride. That's really all it is. But my point being is the image that they paint for us to look like to other people, right? The brother looks effeminate, painted nails, long nails. You know, he wore something that was borderline a dress, and now sisters love that. But now, hold up. Now, let's say that brother stops doing all that, right? Let's say he wants to show his masculinity, right? Now, what do you get called? Toxic masculinity. Brothers can't even be masculine no more. Can't even be masculine no more because now you're toxic. You're a misogynist. You're controlling. You're not reasonable. You're a man, Ak. You're a man, and you're doing exactly what the Lord wants you to do. You are a masculine man. You are I almost cuss, Slakia. You're a warrior, all right? But you can't be that now. That's oppression. I don't know who needs to hear that. That's oppression. And sisters, forget about it. They make you anything but righteous. They make you think you got to be like Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion and all this other stuff, and you got to be a ratchet whore for the rest of your life. You know, yeah, some of these sisters, they're beautiful physically, but your soul is trash. The body's just a vessel. We're worried about what's in here. What's going on in here? This is gonna wither away. You're gonna come back in a new body eventually, right? What's going on in here, sis? Being a whore and laying on your back ain't cool. But that's what they push on our sisters. That's oppression. That's mental abuse. Because when you practice that, when you got brothers who want to be effeminate because they're afraid of being masculine, and you got sisters who want to be masculine because they're afraid of being effeminate, it disrupts the household. Now look at Black and Latino families. Sisters be cheating all the time. Brothers be leaving their women, leaving the kids. Domestic abuse, forget about it, on both sides. Turn into drugs, turn into alcohol. Now just so we're clear, alcohol is not a sin. Alcohol is not a sin. Being a drunkard is, though. Matter of fact, if I could, actually I'll touch on that. Let's go to 1 Peter. Let's go to 1 Peter, I believe it's 5 and 8. If I can find it real quick. 1 Peter 5 and 8. Let's see. 5 and... Okay. So this is the book of 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober. Be vigilant. Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Now, y'all understand Christ drunk wine, right? Did Christ sin? No. It said in the scriptures, it said his eyes were red because he drank wine. So yeah, just so y'all know, Yahushua Mashiach liked to get lit with the Akim. Because he's a black man, all right? He's a Judite. The whole point of this scripture is be sober. Be vigilant. Is it wrong to drink alcohol? No. Is it wrong to not drink alcohol? If you don't want to drink alcohol, you don't have to. No one's forcing you. But when you're a drunkard, which is now called an alcoholic today, now you got a problem. Now we got a problem. You understand? Because when you're drunk all the damn time, let's see. Oh, damn. I'm gonna wrap up class in a little bit. When you're drunk all the time, you're not sober. You can't function correctly. You can't be a good father if you're drunk all the time. You can't be a good mother if you're drunk all the time. It's just not gonna happen. It won't happen. It will never happen. I'm sorry to tell you that. Okay? Be sober. Be vigilant. Because your adversary, the devil, which we all know who the devil really is in the Bible, it's Esau. It's the so-called white man. Why do you think he wants us high and drunk all the time? Why do you think you see these rappers and, good night. I usually don't talk about this one, but I'm going to speak on it real quick before I close the class. Adult film stars. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And no, I'm not just talking about OnlyFans. My goodness. Some of the things that they subjugate those sisters to is just, I can't even talk about it. It's just ridiculous. They get them high, drunk all the time, mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, of course, right? And they keep you sedated. That's really is. It's kind of hard to fight when you're drunk. And I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about spiritually. It's hard to fight back. If I'm feeling sorry for myself all damn day and I'm trying to drink the pain away, it's kind of hard to be a man and fight back. Sisters, when you're drunk and you're high all day and popping pills and contemplating suicide, it's kind of hard to be a good mother. But why do all these things happen? Sin. It's sin. And as long as we continue to sin, you're always going to be suffering with affliction. So how about you stop sinning? Stop. Change your life, okay? Just try it. Just try it. I promise you, things will be a little better for you. All right? You'll see it. It might not happen immediately. Satan gonna try to reel you back in, but just try. Try to fight back. If you need help, get into the Isupk and Commander General Yohana. I know a lot of y'all don't like us because we go out there and say that the oppressor is the devil and we're exclusive to only blacks and Hispanics. Yeah, because we understood a long time ago that these other nations are not going to help us. Why would I turn to the nations that made crafty counsel against my people to help us? Makes no sense. So we turned to the Most High. And because we did, we learned to help each other. And that's beautiful. If a sister got an issue, we can point her into the right direction so she can get the help that she needs. Same thing with a brother. Marriage counseling, therapy, trying to get over an addiction, all these things. We don't want to see you commit suicide. We don't want to see you turn back to the bottle to drink your pain away. We don't want to see you going back to smoking weed and smoking cigarettes and slowly killing yourself. We don't want to see you going back onto the street, sis, and selling your behind. Because we know what's going on underneath the surface. You're sad. You're depressed. And you're just trying to find a way to cope with it. That ain't the way to do it. You're going to kill yourself. Not just physically, but spiritually. So how about we stop sinning? Just try it. Don't believe me, just try it. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to close the class. I got to get going. For watching everybody that tuned in. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to the class. And get in class. Salakia. Time is running out. Y'all think it's a game. Let's see. I'll just do that. Alright, with that being said, Amaidim, just me up here. La Yasharala. Amadim upon Yahak Wadam, which means to stand and face the east. This is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak Wathka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Latan Lanawa, Lakam, Ko, Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kabawath Nawa, see, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawath Yanawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Banasaiwan, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Ma'ayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wataparath, La'olamyam,
Amen. Now in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
All right, for the sake of the class, I'm just going to skip. Just going to go straight to Psalms 83, Salakia. Got to get going.
This is Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, all, Damaya, Laka, all, Lakarash, wa all, Lashakwat, all, Kaya, Hana, Awayebika, Yahama, Yawan, Ra'ash, Ayel, Imaka, Ya'ayamwa, Sabada, Waida, Yatazawa, Ayel, Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakinum, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum, Yasharala, Awada, Kaya, Natazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Alyaka, Baryath, Yakarathwa, Ahoya, Adawam, Wa, Yashma'alim, Mawa'aba, Wahagoyim, Gabal, Wamawan, Wamalak, Palashath, Amishabya, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Nalawa, Aimum, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labunya, Lawat, Salat, Aisha, Lahum, Kamudyim, Kaisaya, Sara'ah, Kayabyan, Banakor, Kwayashwan, Nashab Madwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shaitamwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kairab, Wakaza Abba, Wakaza Bak, Wakatazor, Manai, Kol, Nasayakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayarasha, Nanawat, Af, Naawath, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Roaka'a, Ka'ash, Tabaira, Ya'ira, Wa, Kalahaba, Falahat, Haryum, Kun, Tharadatma, Basairaka, Wabasa, Wapathka, Tabahalum, Mala'a, Panyahum, Palawan, Waya, Bakwashwa, Shemka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Ayai, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Dayawa, Kaya, Atha, Shemka, Labaka, Ayawan, Alkal, Haratazah. Now in the English, keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make atonement, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted Salakia, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also was joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as to the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zaed. Yea, all their princes, as Zabah, and as Aruna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind, and as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Lord, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. Shalom, Israel.